Welcome to Senior Happenings. My name is Trisha Ayers. I will be your host today, and today we're going to be talking financial things, and then we're also going to be talking about in-home care and transportation in a very unique way. So first of all, my first guest is Nancy Koski, and she is with Changing Tides Financial. Nancy, welcome to the show. I have to have my glasses on because we're talking financial. I really have to focus in on my questions. So Changing Tides Financial. What does that mean? What do you do?
Yes, thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so
Trish.
welcome.
I am an independent life insurance broker, but I specialize in secure Roth conversions. So helping people look at their numbers and see if a secure Roth conversion makes sense for them.
Okay, let's backtrack for me. What is a Roth?
Yes. Okay, so there's a difference between an IRA and a Roth. An IRA would be money that you have that you've probably been saving for a number of years, and it's taxable when you start drawing it out. A Roth is tax-free. The earnings and the principal are tax-free, but there's a 5-year window, which we'll talk about that as well.
Oh, okay. So why are we hearing so much about Roth conversions right now? I'm hearing that everywhere.
Yes.
What is the special thing, though? Why we're hearing that?
At the end of 2025, they passed a law which essentially locked in our tax brackets for a number of years. When they did that, and then with the conversions, people started thinking, wow, I really need to convert. I think also another factor is, as you know, baby boomers, people are getting older, and now they're in that phase where they're looking at, rather than wealth accumulation, they're looking at how do I have a strategy when I go into my retirement?
Right.
And you're going into the distribution phase, so it's totally different.
The enjoyment phase.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Yes.
That's what we want.
Yes.
Yes. I'm also hearing the term RMD in retirement.
Yes.
What is that?
Yes. RMD stands for Required Minimum Distributions, and it's very important that people understand what that is. So depending on your year of birth,
Okay.
the government will tell you, okay, Trish, you have to take out X amount of dollars. That amount increases every year as you get older.
Okay.
And if you don't take it, there's a significant penalty. So just to give you an example, if you were born before 1950, the age is 72. At 72, the government says you need to take X amount of dollars, and it's based on the amount of money that you have, that type of thing. There's a couple of factors in that. Then if you were born between 1950 and 1959, the age is 73. And if you were born after January 1, 1960, the age is 75. Okay. So it's a very critical component when you're planning for your retirement, because you don't want to be sending yourself into a higher tax bracket unknowingly or unwillingly.
So what you're telling me really is that you need to contact a professional to get this information.
Yes.
So if they come to see you, you plug in all of their information and you're able to give them specific advice.
Yes, I have a software program that I use. So I sit down, it's real simple. We just have a conversation and we can put your numbers into the system and see if it makes sense for you to do a conversion. Some people, it makes a lot of sense.
Right.
Like some people, I've seen cases where they save over 100% in taxes by doing this versus leaving their money like it is currently. So there can be a significant difference in their retirement.
I think people are very nervous to start moving money, though.
Yes.
It's a big step.
Yes.
You know, when you have, maybe your ethic has been to save, and put it into a specific thing.
Yes.
To make those changes is a really
Absolutely.
big step. Now, if people are thinking of converting maybe their IRA, do you do it all at once, or do you do it over
Yeah, that's a great question because I get asked that all the time. Typically, my goal is to try and keep you in the same tax bracket if possible, and to have it where once we get the conversion complete, you have as much or more in your principal account.
Okay.
So every account that I've done so far, we never just take a huge amount and convert it because the tax consequence on that. Unfortunately, you will pay the tax, and the question is, do you want to pay tax now and be in control of your taxes, or do you want to wait in the future and let the government take control of your taxes and what could happen, the
Right.
consequences of your taxes?
Woo. Now,
Yeah.
we have spoken quite a few times. You know, you're involved in the expos that we do and
Yes.
everything. How did you get involved in this? What made you look and go, this is what I want to be involved in?
Yes. Being an independent life insurance broker, you are constantly getting information about different products. Early on, I realized I really have a passion for helping people 60 and older. And I had heard about this Roth Blueprint conversion, so I went to a conference, and I was immediately intrigued, so that I got more information. And the more I learned about it, the more I realized I could really help a lot of people save a lot of money.
That is always good, that niche.
Yes.
And saving money is always good.
Yes.
Another thing I was reading on the information that you gave me, and that perked my interest because, you know, at our firm, we deal with the 5-year look back from Medicaid, and there was a 5-year to do with Roth.
Yes.
Explain that to me, if you will.
In simplest terms, when you convert your Roth, when you initially convert, say you have 100,000 you're converting, and you do that, say you do 50,000 the first year. When you convert that money, you pay the tax on that immediately. Once you've paid the tax, your principal is tax-free from then on. The 5-year window applies to your earnings. So once you've had the Roth for 5 years, all your earnings are tax-free as well. But there is a 5-year window on that. So that's very important for people to understand. So oftentimes when I'm talking to people about conversions, we don't always convert all of their money.
Right.
Because number one, I want you to have money for emergencies and that type of thing. So that is a huge factor when we're looking at a conversion.
So what would be a good age to do that 5 year?
Yes. Ideally 59 and a half to 70, any time in there, but the sooner you can do it, the better. Ideally, we like to try and get you converted before you reach the RMD age. You can do a conversion even when you're in the RMD age, but it doesn't work as well typically.
Okay.
Typically, we really say, let's try and get it done before you reach the RMD age, so we can. And ideally, like a 5 to 7 year window of the conversion. The shorter time, the better.
Sure.
That we can.
Timing is everything.
Yes.
With everything.
Yes.
So if you do a Roth conversion, how does that work if you are leaving this as to beneficiaries, to kids?
Great. Yes.
How does that work?
That's really important. So typically what will happen is, say I have my children as my beneficiary. Typically when I pass away, they will probably be in their highest earning years.
Yes.
You know, typically they're at the peak of their career and making the most amount of money. Well, now if they get this huge amount, hopefully it's a huge amount of money, they right now have a 10-year window. So if it's an IRA, they are going to be paying taxes on that, and it could be significant tax amount, especially if they're in a higher tax bracket. So that's a huge factor that we look at when we're talking about conversions. Especially, I have a lot of clients who want to leave a significant amount for their children. So let's do the tax now while we can control it, instead of sending them into a higher bracket.
And on the Roth, do you have to do a beneficiary? Is that a stipulation of it? I mean, we love there's beneficiaries on anything.
Yes.
But do you have to?
Everyone I know does.
Yes.
Just because you want.
It would be terrible.
You want, right?
Yes.
You want to be, and that's a great question too. I tell everyone, you not only should have a beneficiary, you should have a contingent, which means if something happens to your beneficiary,
Oh my goodness.
then you have,
the contingent should just keep going because you never know. You never know.
Yes.
So Roth seems like a great product for a lot of people. Who is it not a good product for? Because
number one, I haven't worked, not that you can't do it prior to 59 and a half, but if you're not 59 and a half, you're going to get a 10% withdrawal charge if you convert. So that is not always a great option.
Right.
The other person that I would say it may not be a great option for would be someone who has very little in their IRA and maybe they're in a really low tax bracket. We don't want to be bumping them into a higher tax bracket and it may not make sense. So when we use the software, we can be strategic about it and on a case-by-case basis. And I have had people where I tell them it really doesn't make sense for you to do this option.
Sure.
And there are other options that are safe that they could do, but it just wouldn't be converting to the Roth.
So if our audience is interested in using your services or getting a gauge of, okay, Nancy, can you plug my stuff in there and tell me whether I'm a good candidate or not? Yes. How do they get hold of you?
They can reach me at Nancy, and it's Nanci, at changingtidesfinancial.com.
Okay.
And I'm more than happy. I never charge to meet with anyone. I'm more than happy to sit down with you and see if it makes sense.
Right.
If it doesn't make sense, great. I am very specific in that I specialize in the Roth conversion. I really don't do any further than that. I'm just trying to help you get from the taxable to the non-taxable side of the bridge, as they say.
That sounds good. That sounds good to me. And also, you're going to be at our upcoming Senior Expo.
Yes.
We're going to be at the Rec Center this year, October 1st, so people can come along and have a conversation with you and make appointments, see if it's a good fit, and just ask you more about Roth conversions.
Yes.
Whew. It's a good subject. Thank you so much, Nancy, for being here. We're going to take a short pause and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Senior Happenings, and I'm so excited about this segment. Good friends here to talk about great stuff for our seniors. We have from Good Shepherd in-home healthcare and transportation, hopefully I got that right, Joel Brown, who is co-owner, fancy title, and Tyler Nagel, who is, I think, community outreach.
Leprechaun, Santa,
everything.
Easter Bunny,
Everything.
community liaison.
Exactly. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. I really appreciate that.
Thanks for having us.
Let's talk about Good Shepherd. So unique how it began, I think. Joel, if you'll get us up to speed, how did Good Shepherd start?
Yeah. Let me give the Cliff Notes version real quick. But we just started in 2011. Actually, my parents started at Chip and Lori. They started the in-home care side of it, just kind of on a whim. Had been missionaries for over 20 years in their careers and had never ran a business, and had some folks that they helped out that were kind of like their parents that really needed assistance with their ADLs, their activities of daily living. So they helped that gentleman get started, and then in the home care, they decided they did not want a franchise. They wanted to be their own bosses and not have to report to anyone. And so they started their own business, and Good Shepherd came about. And then 5 years later, in 2016, they were marketing, and they wanted to know, as they were marketing to social workers, case managers, nurses, and things like that, the market's pretty saturated with home care. There's a lot of home care services out there.
Yep.
And so they noticed that people would be like, okay, another home care agency. And so they decided to start asking, well, what's your biggest need? What are you seeing out there that you're struggling with? And one of them was getting their clients or their patients to their appointments. And so they ended up buying one wheelchair van. A lot of those folks were handicapped or unable to get there on their own. And so they bought one wheelchair van back in 2016, and it took off, and it naturally kind of grew. Eventually, when I came on board, a couple of years later, I think we had about 5-6 vans, and now we're up to we're in starting year 10, we're up to about 25 vans right now. So obviously it was a need, and just from us listening to what the need was out there, we were
Right.
able to take that off and grow it. So
And I just think that's what I honed in on when I was prepping for this interview. This is not a franchise. This is something that came from your parents seeing the need and going, we're going to do it like this.
Yeah.
And this is what else we need to provide. I think that's so unique and what makes you guys so special. Because you're right. There's lots of in-home healthcare companies, and there's a place for everybody, and everybody has their twist on things.
Right.
But the other folks are generally a franchise. I think you're the only one that's
locally and
Locally,
independently
yeah.
owned. I believe we are. There was one in the market earlier, but
Okay.
yes.
Well,
But anyways, yeah.
And I think the cool thing with being we call it a mom and pop, is we're growing and abundantly, but we also have that same vision, which is meeting people where they're at and serving people, which is Chip and Lori's vision.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tyler, how do you fit into the picture? What's your job?
Yeah, great question. So typically a day in the life of Tyler at Good Shepherd is just calling on some really great community partners, also equipping families on the home care side and transport with the resources that they need. So we always like to leave people better off than how we found them. So if it's not a good fit for whatever reason, scheduling, cost, we always plug people into what they need.
I think that's the great thing about our area too. If we cannot help them ourselves, we have so many resources of what would
Correct.
be a good fit. Now, do you focus on seniors, or is it all age groups for the in-home?
Great question. So we've had young adults before.
Okay.
We've partnered with the Sparrow Clinic before as well. We've done anywhere from, I think, can we do 18?
Yeah, we can actually take care of younger as well.
Up to 120.
Hey, that's something to strive for. That's something to strive for.
Correct.
Isn't there a lady in the UK that just turned 120? I was
No.
117 or something.
I
Something
think
like that.
I think you would know that.
Yes, I should know that,
Yeah.
shouldn't I? But yes, so all ages you can service. But generally, I think we find that we're helping our seniors.
Absolutely.
Yeah, more focused on the geriatric
Yes.
population.
Absolutely.
Correct.
And the transportation side was genius. I wish I'd have come up with that because I know personally and how hands-on you guys are. I was helping, kind of advocating for a gentleman who was in assisted living at one of our beautiful communities, had to go to the hospital for some reason, and no transportation after hours. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
The facility is kind of like, we have transportation, 9 to 5 scheduled. And Joel, you probably don't remember this. You actually helped me out and got this gentleman from the hospital back to his community. And these are the gaps that you don't think about until that crisis point comes up. So other than getting people maybe from the hospital, what other, else do you transport people? Are they like doctor's appointments? What are we doing?
Yeah, so it's non-emergent medical transport, and so the majority of it is going to be, your dialysis appointments, radiation, general, doctor's appointments. But we've done things such as taking people to weddings. We're open on the holidays, so we take a lot of folks from their living facility over to the family's homes on like Thanksgiving, Christmas. We do a lot of those types of transports. So if you're in a wheelchair, you're unable to get there on your own, we can provide that service. It doesn't have to be a medical reason. And so we also do long distance. We just recently took someone to California. We've done trips to Miami. I know you want to drive for us now, right?
Wow,
Yeah.
yes.
You're hired.
You get a per diem as well.
Yes.
And so, anyways, but yeah, we've gone all over the country, and a lot of that is to do with folks and their cognitive. Usually, it's a dementia or Alzheimer's thing. Because it is fairly, if you go that route, it can be a little bit pricey. But they are too nervous to fly. But that family really wants
Sure.
that person to get back home with them so they can
Sure.
be with them. And so, we do specialize in that. It also led up to the wheelchair side, helped us. Again, another need that was coming is constantly on the phone calls was, will you get an ambulance service going? Will you get an ambulance service going?
Right.
And so we kept hearing it, and I'm like, do you know how much an ambulance costs? There's a lot of overhead there.
Yes,
Anyways,
yes.
but fortunately after, 10 years of doing fairly well, we were able to invest into a couple ambulances, and we started that operation as well. So we have 4 ambulances that help serve the Northwest Arkansas community. it's not a 911 service, but it is a service where some people don't qualify for a wheelchair. Like they're either
Right.
they're bedridden or they're too sick. There's something going on. So we will provide that non-emergent, what they call a transfer service as well.
Okay, let's go back to the California trip.
Yeah.
So did they just drop off the person to family and then drove back, or did they get to have like a vacation
Right.
and hang around?
We allowed, it's a fun thing about being small business. It's not like, hey, you have to get to this point and you're coming right back. We, allowed our drivers to go to the beach, and they got to go see, they went to, I think, San Francisco. They went to the pier and checked it out. And so it was, they got to have a little bit of fun time as well. But yeah, of course, we put them in a hotel. It's not a 20, there
Sure.
and back. We put them in a hotel so they can get some rest and drive
Sure.
safely back the next day. So.
In a great way that home care, I think, partners with transport, how we all work together is, let's say we have a client that we're a transport client we are taking to Florida. The driver has to drive. So sometimes we even partner those trips with a caregiver if needed,
Okay,
too,
right.
which I think is a really great benefit.
Because if somebody has, medical conditions that I'm sure you have to be
Sure, yeah.
cognizant
Case
of
by
that.
case,
Yes,
yeah, correct.
absolutely. That's exciting, though. California, Florida.
Vacation.
Okay, maybe
Yeah.
a side job I see coming up there. So, well, before we started the show, you were talking about 100,000.
Yeah.
Tell me
yeah.
about that.
So a couple weeks ago,
August 4th.
we hit our 100,000th trip for Good Shepherd, which is a huge milestone because we started home care in 2016 and then brought transport on 2019. So terrible at math, but those are some years there that we've reached that milestone. And just the whole month of August, we've been celebrating with office staff, clients. We have a transport client that writes poems for us, so he's going to come in tomorrow and read that for our office staff. So we're just super excited to be a part of this and to reach that milestone.
So, not all of your clients are just one and done. You have some on a regular basis. I'm sure that you
Correct.
develop
This gentleman we
relationships
take to church every Sunday.
Does he get the same driver, maybe, or does he get?
I think for the
He has
most
a couple that he
part.
definitely.
That he
I
likes.
actually got to transport him one time, and he was naming off his favorite drivers. But we hit it off, and at the end, I said, "You let them know that I am now your favorite driver." So I got to pull him the next day.
Google review right
yeah,
there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Right
that's his
there.
ministry. He writes poems.
But yeah, the dialysis, of course, our dialysis is traditionally 3 times a week. So you think you're in the van 6 times because it's a round trip. So that is kind of the cool position about the driver and what they do. A lot of our drivers are retired. They just want something part-time, but they can engage and still help out in the community. And it's very rewarding to transport these people that are in a vulnerable position that, they're sick, they're going to radiation, they're going to dialysis, and these drivers, when we interview them, we look for that person that likes to be engaging. Obviously, I say read the room. Some folks don't like to talk as much, but that moment that you're in the vehicle with them, we've had drivers get to go to, unfortunately, when that client passes, but the drivers have been invited to go to the funerals and sit with the family.
Wow.
I have a pastor that drives with us. That a lady, a couple of folks have been in hospice. He's been able to go and be with them during their last moments and encourage them during that time. And so it's really cool to see what God has done with the organization and helping it grow. And it's more than just a job to them. It's a position where they feel like they're still engaged in helping with people. So
I think that's the key. I know at the firm that I work with, it's family. It's mom and pop, like you're saying, and it's who can jump in if and obviously if the attorneys aren't there, we're not jumping in to be attorneys, but if somebody's not on the front desk, we'll just jump in. And I'm sure it's the same where you guys are. You'll just jump in and do whatever's needed.
That's right.
Because you care for your clients, and that's the best way to be.
Yes, correct. And I think on our home care side, not only do transport and home care all have the heart, but on our home care side, we've all been caregivers at one point or another.
Yeah.
So I think it equips us with that empathy to really to do this for the community and help out.
Okay,
because we've been there.
When you're hiring, you mentioned about the drivers. When you're hiring for your in-home care staff, what are some of the things that you guys look for when you're hiring? There's got to be that, yeah, this is the right person, or no, this is not going to be the right fit.
Yeah, I think similar with the drivers. The number one thing that usually we're looking for is, do you love working with, generally the elderly, and what is your passion? And the main answer I'm always looking for is I love to help people. I just love to help people. And so when you get that answer like authentically in the interview, you're on a good pace and a good start. And so, but we obviously look for people that are compassionate, love to help people. A lot of the caregivers that we brought on have had no experience. It's usually someone that was taking care of their mom or dad or their grandma or their grandpa,
Right.
and realized actually they loved the position.
Right.
And so they would find us and interview, and we help get them trained. We help them get them licensed, and we work on with our scheduling crew. We have an amazing staff there that works with them to figure out who's going to be the right fit for this client, because after the assessment, they've interviewed them. We get the assessment from the client, who's going to be able to mesh well with this person. So that's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, on the transportation side, quick question before we leave everybody here. How soon can you book an appointment? How far in advance do you need to give you? I mean, what if somebody has like myself, I have somebody who needs to get from the hospital back to their community. Can you make that happen?
As you said, Trish, you called
Yeah.
me, I think, at like 8:30 or 9
Yeah.
one night, and we got it done. So I would say about half of our trips at least are the day of. And
Okay.
so as long as you can give us, an hour or two,
Okay,
we're
wow.
usually able to get there. So like I said, we have about 25 vehicles. Half of them are split up north, half of them are split down south in the Fayetteville area, Washington County,
Right.
Benton County area. And so generally, there's someone available that can get there within the hour. Now, that's not always the case, but if you can give us a 24, 48-hour heads up, we
Sure.
can always guarantee and lock that in.
Sure.
If you're calling day of, maybe expect us to counter with a different requested time,
Right.
which most people are flexible with if it's an hour
Absolutely.
here or there. So.
But just to know that we have that service out there. I think there's people who still don't know, even though they probably see the vans, and
Yeah.
they're like,
Right.
wonder what they do.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know you need that service, you're not looking for it.
Right.
That seems to be the thing. Well, gentlemen, thank you so
Thank you.
much for joining me. I really appreciate that. Tell us, Tyler, if you want to reach out to Good Shepherd, which is located in Springdale, how do we get
Yes.
hold of you?
Yeah. Okay. So a couple ways that you can get a hold of us is if you have any questions, you can always, of course, look at our social media page. If you have any direct questions, you can email me at Tyler, Tyler, at gs-seniorservices.com. Joel's email is the same.
Joel, yeah.
Joel Brown. And go ahead and give them our number as well for transport.
If you're
and
needing
home care.
transport, it's 479-283-6285. And for home care, I think you said 479-361-8983. If you're needing
But if they
any
call
questions.
the wrong number,
We'll get you.
you'll get
We're
them
all
connected.
under the
You
same
connected.
office, so
Perfect.
we're all huddled in tight there, so we
Perfect.
can yell down the hall and let somebody know they need help.
I love
Yeah.
that. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Trish.
Thanks, Trish.
Appreciate you so much.
Appreciate everybody being here, and we'll be back next month with more exciting stuff for our seniors. Thank you.